This is NDDC Today.
Good evening and good to know that you're there. The development of the Niger Delta region remains key and sacrosanct until the region gets the desired, even and sustainable level of development the people crave for. This is the reason why the different stakeholders and various governments in the region are working hard to ensure that this is achieved. In today's program, vision and actions of the new interim administrator of NDDC, Mr. Effiong Akwa, since assumption of office. The NDDC takes its consultative drive to women activists in the Niger Delta region, solicit their cooperation to move the NDDC and the Niger Delta to the next level. Plus, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, briefs the media on activities of his ministry in 2020. I am Uri Ngozi Chukwuka. Welcome to NDDC Today. The rationale behind the appointment of an interim administrator for the NDDC cannot now be faulted. All the efforts of the Commission have always been for a better and effective delivery for the people of the Niger Delta. Barely 1 month in office, one looks at the utterances of the administrator as perhaps the most articulate of the way forward we have had in recent times.
Since his appointment as the interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) in December last year, Effiong Akwa had demonstrated his vision and determination to reposition the commission and set it on the right path to actively carry out the mandate for which it was established. Speaking during his inaugural assignment as the new interim administrator of the NDDC at the 4th meeting of the National Council on Niger Delta held in Port Harcourt in December 2020, Effiong Akwa remarked that the NDDC, under his leadership, was going to redeem its image as a development agency set up to cater for the development of the Niger Delta region and its people and foster more and better collaboration with state governments in the region.
The theme of our meeting was redeeming the image of NDDC. We have gone are the days you see NDDC for supply of plastic chairs, for supply of tables, for supply of street lights, and so on. We will work with the governors of the South region. We will engage the governors, we will engage the stakeholders, we will engage the royal fathers, so that they can tell us, we will really know what you are looking for. If we know what is your priority, if you set your priorities right, we know what is a priority, then we can tackle those priorities. There will be no competition for development. Somebody is doing a half-kilometer road here, another person is doing this way. Gone are those days. We will work together as a team, and as a team, we will achieve development.
In the overall view of the interim administrator, the NDDC has performed not too well in the last 20 years, hence his idea of an NDDC Reform Committee, among others, that will strengthen the Commission to operate as a 21st century organization.
For instance, we are going to make far-reaching reforms. For instance, we are suggesting that the position of Executive Director of Projects, maybe we can rename it, we are not saying it can be renamed, Executive Director of Engineering and Technical Services. We will have functions for the Managing Director, we will have functions for the Executive Director of Finance and Administration, we will have functions for the proposed Executive Director for Engineering and Technical Services when it is eventually agreed by the National Assembly. Kindly note that whatever thing we are doing here is an in-house brainstorming exercise, because if you continue to do the things you were doing in the way in the manner you used to do it, you cannot have a different result.
Moving on, the NDDC boss has continued to espouse his vision for the NDDC. chief among which is to ensure that most projects already embarked upon by the Commission, which littered the entire length and breadth of the region, that are fully completed, are commissioned. In line with this vision, Mr. Akwa recently inaugurated 3 different committees saddled with the responsibility of, among other things, overseeing the commission of the new NDDC headquarters building, as well as projects that have been completed within the region but awaiting commissioning.
But by what the interim administrator has done today, we are going to showcase these projects to the world. We are going to showcase these projects to Nigerians to see what the commission has been doing over the years. It's quite an enormous assignment, but we believe because of our experience that we'll be able to do all that the interim administrator wants us to achieve. He has given us terms of reference. I want to assure you, sir, that we'll be able to handle all this within the period of time you want us to conclude this assignment.
Engagement with major stakeholders of the Niger Delta region by the Akwa-led administration is ongoing. This is as part of the fulfillment of his promise to redeem the Commission's long-battered image, which is one of the cardinal priority of Effiong Akwa since he assumed office as interim administrator of the NDDC. To buttress his commitment to his promises, the NDDC boss recently paid courtesy visits to some major stakeholders of the region, where he again reiterated his vision to reposition the NDDC for the better. First was his visit to a former Federal Commissioner for Information in the First Republic and one of the founding fathers of the NDDC, Chief Edwin Clark. At the meeting, Effiong Akwa emphasized his commitment to ensure that several abandoned projects lying across the region will be completed and put to use.
So now we have a budget we can attend to our people because we have issues with flooding. The youth of the Niger Deltas, there are many that are not gainfully employed. We need training for our youth. We have identified that. We have identified issues that has to do with flooding. We don't have roads in the Niger Delta. The East-West Road that was initiated by the administration of President Obasanjo many years ago is still lingering. That is why the current minister of Niger Delta, Chief Godswill Akpabio CON, took it as a responsibility that the East-West Road must be completed and handed over for the use of the people of Niger Delta. That enough of the accidents, enough of robbery on the road because of the non-completion of these roads and bridges. And he has ordered us also, he has also suggested that we should collaborate with the ministry, with the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. So we as NDDC, with the budget that we now have, that has been given to us, we are now going to collaborate. So you are going to see within the next 6 months to 1 year, that the East-West Road, stretching all the way from Warri up to Oron, with the bridges, will be completed and handed over for the use of the Niger Delta.
In continuation of consultations with major stakeholders of the Niger Delta region, the NDDC boss has also paid courtesy visits to the palace of the Amaneyabo of Okochiri, King Ateke Tom in Rivers State.
Welcome back. The interim administrator of NDDC, Mr. Akwa, setting the agenda there for the quest to reposition the NDDC. The people of the Niger Delta come first in matters that concern the development of the region, and the NDDC interim administrator, Effiong Akwa, is quite aware of this fact. To carry the people along with this new thinking of the Commission, Mr. Effiong Akwa has continued with his consultation with major stakeholders of the region, this time to the home of one of Niger Delta's rights women activists and Q Bricks in Port Harcourt.
The interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Mr. Effiong Akwa, has continued his consultation drive among the relevant stakeholders across the Niger Delta. Mr. Akwa, in one of such recent visits in Port Harcourt, says that the Commission will henceforth focus on completing ongoing projects, particularly the university's hostels in the 9 Niger Delta states. The NDDC Chief Executive Officer stated this when he led a team of directors from the Commission to pay a courtesy visit to foremost Niger Delta rights activist Anne Kilbriggs at a residence in Port Harcourt. At the meeting, Akwa enumerated several interventions that the NDDC would focus on, noting that the management committee identified education, agriculture and regional projects as top priority areas. According to him, uncompleted projects, especially in the area of education, will be tackled expeditiously.
My coming here today was just to present myself to you and ask for your guidance, ask for your motherly advice and support. I have identified upon resumption of duty, I have identified uncompleted projects, particularly in the area of education. We've decided that going forward, we want to tackle the uncompleted hostels. So as part of our contribution to the educational sector in Nigeria, because we have been reliably informed that schools will be reopening any moment from now. And with the COVID-19 situation that has made it very difficult for people to cluster, as it were, we have decided to intervene in this area by completing the various hostels that are scattered around the Niger Delta, so that upon resumption, our students will be able to live in a comfortable environment, observe the social distancing without bringing the academic environment into jeopardy. So we've decided to pursue the completion of the hostels that we abandoned across the Niger Delta.
The NDDC boss underscored the need for collaboration with critical stakeholders to drive the process of development in the Niger Delta region, stating that the commission would engage the governors, traditional rulers and other stakeholders of the region to ensure harmony in the execution of the projects.
We want to work in synergy with the state government, various states in the Niger Delta. We want to ask them what is their needs. When I leave you, I have already submitted my request to the governor of Rivers State, the host governor, that has done so well for the people of Rivers State in terms of infrastructure. He's done so well for the people of Rivers and NDDC in terms of security. Since we started the building and since I came here, we've not had we've not had security concerns or issues. So he has done well in the state, and we want to visit him to seek his direction, to seek his guidance with respect to the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission. This is part of our target, the management focus. And we also want to focus on social services that has to do with women. We know the women and the youth groups. Some of these vulnerable groups in the Niger Delta, they will have to be assisted. They will have to be trained on agricultural production, particularly with respect to aquaculture and fisheries, which is our main area. I come from a riverine community. Our major stock in trade is the fishing, and we have a whole lot of opportunities and potentials in the areas of fishing. In terms of crops and other agricultural produce, we have quite a sizable arable land within the Niger Delta that we can train our women, we can train our youth, so that we can engage them in the agricultural sector.
At the meeting with the Niger Delta rights woman activist, the interim administrator noted that on his assumption of office, he noticed that there were quite some things that needed to be fixed in the system. Number one of them, Akwa said, was the image of the NDDC that has been bruised over time, among other issues that are now getting due attention under his short time in office.
Upon resumption, Madam, we noticed that the NDDC, there were quick things we needed to fix in the system. Number one was to work on the image of the NDDC that had been brutalized over time. If you listen to the media, what we had in the media was not encouraging about the image of NDDC. NDDC had been known for extra budgetary expenditure, that is carrying out expenses without budgets. NDDC has been known for uncompleted projects. NDDC has been known for abandonment of projects over the years. NDDC have been notorious in terms of inability to pay contractors that have since executed their projects and so on. And so all these ones brought the image of the NDDC, made the image of NDDC to nosedive.
Akwa further told his host that the interim management of the NDDC was composed of all the directors in the commission, dismissing the notion that the interventionist agency was being run by him alone as a sole administrator.
Other challenges that we met on ground, we have decided to hit the ground running by rearranging the staff, the management structure. let me also inform you that I hear people say it is doing a job of a sole administrator. There is nothing like that, because within the NDDC we have up to 47 directors that join hands with me to take decision in a joint management meeting. So we have reorganized these directors and we've posted them to their areas of competence. The target is to get the best out of them, and we meet regularly to take decisions on behalf of your people, on behalf of the people of Niger Delta.
In her remarks, Anne Kubrick commended the interim administrator for recognizing the role of women in the issues that affect the Niger Delta region, stating that it would be unfair to blame the new leadership in the commission for the rot that has taken place over the years.
I'm not saying it because you're here or whatever reason, but the truth must be told that you are the first person in the commission, whether it is the NDDC, whether it is the Ministry of Niger Delta, or even the amnesty, that has made it a point of duty and a point of recognizing that women play a role and will continue to play a role.
The activist urged the NDDC boss to take measures to ensure that beneficiaries of the Commission's postgraduate foreign scholarship program were not exposed to unnecessary hardship. In the area of health, Anne Kubrick observed that the people of the Niger Delta were suffering on account of oil and gas exploration and exploitation.
The issue of health, the health for the Niger Delta people, nobody can tell you, you're from the Niger Delta, you're a son of the soil, nobody can tell you the suffering of our people when it comes to health. We don't even know the type of diseases that is in the Niger Delta region because of the exploration and exploitation of oil and gas. So that definitely is also welcome. We will support you to achieve those as well.
Briggs told her visitor that Niger Delta women will no longer accept the reduction of the NDDC to a cash cow for politicians, stating that the commission was established to facilitate the rapid development of the region. Briggs also regretted that the NDDC had not received contributions from the Ecological Fund since inception, in spite of the fact that the Act establishing the Commission stated they should get 50% of monies due to member states of the Commission from the Ecological Fund.
Welcome back. No doubt, if these hostel facilities are completed for use by students as promised by the interim administrator, they will surely go a long way in solving the lingering challenges of students' accommodation in those universities.
The forensic audit, a revolution in the quest for national accountability.
The amount of money which the federal government is religiously allocating to NDDC, we would like to see the results on the ground, and those that are responsible for that, I think, will eventually be asked to explain certain issues.
The NDDC opens itself up for public financial scrutiny.
It is the totality of the rot that came to what we call forensic auditing, ordered by Mr. President. So my answer to all the questions, forensic, forensic, forensic.
The forensic audit, the NDDC apocalypse, now on. Catch up on all the latest details here on NDDC Today.
The Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) is set to roll out a talent hunt program to discover and expose creative youths and women of the Niger Delta region to take advantage of the thriving entertainment industry. Speaking during a meeting with some key actors in the creative industry at the River State office of the NDDC in Port Harcourt, the interim administrator, Mr. Effiong Akwa, said that NDDC will continue to create programs to address the challenges of youths in the Niger Delta region. The NDDC Chief Executive Officer, represented by the Director Youth and Sports, Mr. Offiong Ephraim, stated that the Talent Hunt program will accommodate all categories of youths, including those that are physically challenged.
The Niger Delta Development Commission was created to partner, and especially the Youth Directorate, to see how they can bring about development of the youths. And when we are talking of youths, we are also counting on the women and even the less privileged, also the people living with disabilities.
In his own speech, the Special Advisor on Youths to the Interim Administrator, Engineer Udengs Eradiri, said that it was important to debunk the notion that Niger Delta youths were not enterprising.
But our own thinking is that the creative industry is one area that we can engage a lot of idle young people, and so we as a catalyst, you must know that the NDDC itself is a catalyst for development in the Niger Delta. We want to play our role by ensuring that we support such institutions and engagements to create that catalyst to push our young people to the international society.
One of the leading artists in the region, Mr. Okiri Harry, better known as Harry Song, said that the new NDDC Youth Program was a dream come true for those in the creative sector, noting that 80% of the entertainment industry was rooted in the Niger Delta. He said that artists from the region over the years had challenges of getting support and platforms to express themselves. And that is where the Niger Delta Talent Hunt comes in.
NIDET is a platform from this Niger Delta that we are putting together to give our youth, most especially the entertainment industry and our youth, platform to be able to showcase what they have, engage them, make them superstars. And so because this is going to be monetized also, they will now know how to make money off their talents, off YouTube, off iTunes, how we started and how we get to where we are.
Harry said that the Niger Delta Youth Entertainment Talent Hunt would organize auditions in all the 9 states of the region and organize bands for them with the intention to make stars from this platform.
Moving on, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, says that the ongoing forensic audit exercise of the NDDC has begun to yield the desired results, among other things. Senator Godswill Akpabio was speaking during a press conference where he gave a rundown of his ministry's scorecard for the year 2020. Our reporter was at the event. The report.
The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, who doubles as the supervising minister of the NDDC, has appraised the achievements of his ministry in the year 2020 and expressed his confidence on some major ongoing work plans that will help take the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC and the Niger Delta region to the next level of development this year, 2021. The minister gave these assertions during a press conference recently in Abuja. Senator Akpabio noted that despite the obvious paucity of funds in 2020 and the inherent challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, the ministry under his watch was able to make many significant milestones towards the development of the Niger Delta.
So the accusations you are talking about are part and parcel of the work of the ministry. It means that things are happening. It means that things are changing. If we came in and there was a laissez-faire attitude, and I think there was lethargy, and things were the way they were, you will not hear any agitation. It will be business as usual, and everybody will be smiling and giving each other a high five. So you can't have a high five when you look at somebody and say, my friend, you can't do this again. Enough is enough. 9 days are for the thief, and 1 day is for the honor of the goods.
Akpabio said the plethora of issues bordering on the Niger Delta region includes issues of development and underdevelopment, peace and security, minimizing corruption in NDDC, the East-West Road, and many other challenges that calls for the general concern of every stakeholder in the region. Senator Godswill Akpabio, who was flanked by his Minister of State, Senator Omotayo Alasha Adura, said that the ministry had worked assiduously well with the NDDC in the year 2020 to ensure the completion of the 13-floor permanent headquarters tower of the NDDC in Port Harcourt.
So when I say we have reduced corruption to the barest minimum, it indirectly means that we are determined to ensure due process. The moment you follow due process, then you would have minimized corruption. There was no due process in most of the things they were doing. That is the simple truth about it. And then I would say that most times they did not follow due process in either awards of contract and even in terms of monitoring. So now we have a robust monitoring system where even before payments are made, we try to see what you have done. We don't give contract. That what has happened is that we gave time frame within which you get back to site. So when the forensic auditors come to assess your project, if they see you there and you are doing substantial work based on probably what you collected, then automatically it will show that the job is ongoing. Otherwise, it will show that the job is abandoned. And so far, the stories have it that we have at least 12,000 abandoned projects in the region. But it's not just abandoned projects. Some were completed and also abandoned.
According to Senator Akpabio, the forensic audit of the NDDC is very much on course, and the exercise under the supervisory watch of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs is beginning to yield positive results as expected. In his closing remarks, the Minister of State for the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Omotayo Alasha-Adura, pledged the determination of the ministry to ensure that the development of the Niger Delta region will be done differently with a higher standard of accountability and transparency, which will ensure the sustainable development of the region.
We have decided that monumental projects that can be attached to the name of Mr. President should be embarked upon and probably finished and commissioned before the end of the tenure of Mr. President. That is a commitment that the Honorable Minister, my humble self, and the staff of this ministry have given to ourselves. And by the special grace of God, we will try to achieve it to the glory of this country and to the glory of God.
You had it all from the minister, and it is our hope that the new thinking in the ministry will bring about better deals for the people of the Niger Delta going forward. That is the size of our package for this week, and thanks for being there for us. Till we come your way again next week, please do stay safe. Good night.